What's up, everybody? Happy Sunday. Hope you're doing well. I am driving back on this highway once again. Could not do the Bills at extra last night. Well, it's a late game. Got close to midnight, so I figured most of you probably would have been headed to bed or sleepy or maybe indulged in too much strong man drink, so to speak. Uh, but we're doing it today. I'm making my way back to South Carolina from Tuscaloosa after a wonderful game. By the time last night got things done, another outstanding, stellar second half performance, another opportunity where they went in at halftime, made proper adjustments defensively, giving up only 7 points in the second half. This defense has just been outstanding. So Kevin Steele, T. Rob, whomever that are making those adjustments. Big Saban, outstanding job. Shut them down. That high-powered offense. Of course, it helps when Dallas Turner put that wood on him and came off the edge and put a helmet on that top shoulder pad and drove him to the ground and knocked him out. Put him in concussion protocol. So the Tide wins at 42-28. Big win. They control their own destiny, looking really, really good. As I think right now, all they have to do is win one of the two. Next week they win against Kentucky. They are SEC West champions and will be in Atlanta to take on Georgia or Tennessee. So, listen, this thing is shaping up very nice. The Tide has been outstanding since week number 2. They put their head down in the sand and just continue to win. The polls came out today, too, by the way, the AP polls. The Tide's still sitting at number 8, I believe. I don't think they moved up at all, but that's okay. All they got to do is continue to win, and they're going to be in great shape for the college football playoffs. Corey Miller, Christian Miller hanging out. He's in Tuscaloosa. I'm on I-26, about 30 minutes from my home here in Columbia, South Carolina. So just making my way down the interstate. Christian, what's up?
Not much. Good to be back on here. I know a lot of people have been asking, and we're back. And first and foremost, we don't condone being on your phone while driving. He's got his thing set up, so he's good.
I'm not on my phone.
All right, good.
Hey,
just look, you got.
I got sitting right in front of me, and I'm looking right at everything in the road.
100%. But you have to say those things nowadays because people will sue you and all types of stuff. That being said, we are glad to be back after a big win. Alabama defeating LSU 42-28. Could have been 45-28 if we hit one of those field goals, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. And did look a really good performance by Alabama. I was really impressed. I was down on the sidelines per usual as a sideline reporter, and it was a great atmosphere, man. You know, I said in the pregame show that I did with the Sports Network. I mean, they said give a pitch for the fans. I said, look, man, we need you guys being as loud as you were against Tennessee because that was arguably one of the best atmospheres that I've experienced in quite some time in Bryant-Denny Stadium. I know even, going into the season, I kind of was a little hard on some of our fans saying I feel like we could be better. And I'll be honest, so far, you guys have really lived up to the test, right? The past 2 games in Bryant-Denny Stadium have been nothing short of outstanding. I was on the sideline with O.J. Howard, and it was his first time back since he had left. So I guess, 7 years, man. I can't even believe he's been gone that long. But his first time or first game back in 7 years, man, and he was speechless. I mean, he hadn't seen the whole lights that had been added. He hadn't heard it like that in quite some time. And I mean, he was blown away. So, hats off to the fans, man. You guys played a big role. I don't know how many penalties LSU had, but they had quite a few penalties. So you guys definitely brought the noise. You made it hard for those guys. But you also got to tip your hat to Jayden Daniels, right? I mean, the guy's a phenomenal football player. Going into the game, we knew he was going to be a huge challenge. We said it that, stopping him and his, rushing ability would be critical in this game. Well, we saw in the first half, it's just not very easy to stop the guy. Coach Saban, going into halftime, I don't know if you guys listened to the radio call, but I interviewed Coach Saban, and that's what I asked him. I said, it's a tight ball game through one half of play, but, how important is it going to be to stop Jayden Daniels in the second half? And I knew that I was going to get something out of him. That's why I asked him that, and he definitely he gave a great answer. But he said, and I don't know if I just couldn't see well from being on the sideline, that point of view, but he claimed that we were spying him. You know, we were rushing 3, rushing 4, doing different things, and we just really couldn't come up with an answer. Um, I didn't necessarily feel like I saw uh, a traditional spy like we might normally see. Like when I used to be a spy, we'd have 3 guys rush and I'd pop out. You know, uh, I'd basically feather the guard real quick to get his attention. That way I could help the guy rushing next to me out. Then I'd back out into the spy. I think they were using just like the middle linebacker to spy. But obviously, whatever we were doing in the first half, I mean, just wasn't really getting the job done. I mean, either that or this guy is just that great of an athlete. It's probably a little bit of both, right? He really is a good athlete, and I guess I didn't give him credit enough for his speed. The guy has wheels, man. But that was one thing that really was the story of the first half, right? You know, we couldn't really contain him, which we knew we had to do going into this football game, and we knew our offense was going to have to help us out, which they did. Right, we were able to run the ball effectively. And I know LSU's defense is not the most impressive defense. Still, SEC defense. They've got talent on that team. But yeah, you know, I was really impressed with the offense. Look, as much as we like I'm not even going to say as much as we like to criticize, but as much as we do, because again, that's what our job is to tell what we're seeing. We always talk about the offensive line when they're not doing their best. Well, now it's time to give them some praise, right? You got to tip your hat to the offensive line. The offensive line last night, in my opinion, was great, right? You know, maybe even outstanding, right? Sure, there's probably some things they could have done a little bit better, but when you look at it and you look at the box score, right? Or if you just watch the game, I mean, Alabama had nearly 300 yards on the ground rush. I mean, they had a total of did they hit 500 yards total, or they're close to it?
I think on 200 something rushing.
Yeah,
And then
288
200.
rushing yards. Yeah, 288 yards on the ground, 219 throwing. Jalen Milroe 15 to 23 for 219 yards. No touchdowns, but no interceptions. QBR 96.4. And you talk about stacking them up against Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels 15 to 24 for 219, 2 touchdowns to the air, 1 interception. QBR of 97.6. So again, I know Jalen Milroe had 4 touchdowns there, rushing touchdowns, but for all the people that didn't think you could get the job done with him at quarterback, well, think again. I mean, the guy keeps proving that he can find ways to get it done, right? We would have had one pass, and he got a little antsy when he saw that guy wide open. He was scrambling and kind of airmailed a little bit over him.
That was
It happens, but yeah,
opening.
yeah, but again, he made up for it by running it in for a rushing touchdown. But again, man, you got to tip your hat to the offensive line. I wish I had all these numbers pulled up, been more prepared. I don't know where all these numbers are. Again, we're football guys. We don't really go all these numbers. I think we had maybe just a couple sacks, maybe a few sacks. I don't know. I thought protection was pretty good.
Yeah, but let me say this real quick before I let you go on about the protection. The protection was extremely good. And a couple
Right.
times, Proctor and the tight end got beat when they was chipping, and he still got past both guys and got a hit on the quarterback. But those first couple of sacks was on Milroe. Milroe still holds the ball too long. He still is indecisive at times. And I still think he's got to get that clock going better in his head because a couple of those first 2 sacks was on him. And I
Yeah.
know he's holding it, waiting for things to open up, trying to make a big play. But he did this during the second half where he was quick, he was decisive, pressure felt pressure, he stepped up, boom, he was gone. Just like Jayden Daniels was doing. He didn't wait around.
Yeah.
He felt the pressure coming up on the fence being closed. He stepped up and he took off. And that's what Jalen Milroe has to do, I think, a lot better. So the offensive line, I would give them a definitely A minus based on how they blocked and how they protected the quarterback. He took a couple hits, but nowhere near what they had been doing in weeks past. So, yeah, kudos. We've given those guys the business, right? We've given them the business on how they've been playing. But this time around, what a great night for the offensive line. But those first couple of seconds, I wanted to say that those were on Jalen Milroe, just really holding the ball too long, backpedaling in the pocket instead of just making a quick decision and running with the football, getting 2-3 yards. That's better than taking a negative play.
Yeah. So, like I said, I mean, the offensive line definitely played really well. I want to tip my hat to them. They were very impressive, obviously, on the ground, and Jalen Milroe had 155 of those rushing yards. Jason McClellan with 63, Roydell with 56. I love that tandem with those 2 guys, Jan Miller getting in there. But Yeah, the offensive line, got to give them credit where it's due. They did really well, and also one just him holding the ball, but also him not seeing. I felt a couple of those times he had some guys, but he got a little flustered and didn't really see guys, which is fine. It happens. But other than that, man, I mean, he played a solid game himself. But I think a lot of that you gotta tally it up to being contributed to. You, I really liked what Tommy Reese was calling. I like how they're using Kendrick Law and using him and some of those sets, putting him in the backfield, almost kind of like a Debo Samuels type, just being a little more innovative. I like how we attacked the perimeter. I think that opened up those inside runs even more. I love the push that we were getting with the offensive line. The running backs really hitting the hole, pressing the holes. It looked a lot like Alabama football, man. It really did. And I think that was the closest thing to 4 quarters. Again, it was not perfect. Defensively, again, that first half was tough, just kind of letting Jayden Daniels run all around. Those throws he had, look, that one to Malik Neighbors, I mean, in stride was phenomenal. A great throw and catch. But those guys are going to make those plays, but it's about how you respond. And that's exactly what the defense did. That second half, they contained him much better, right? He still had a couple, but they contained much better. Terrion Arnold had a great day. Kool-Aid also played really well, but Terrion Arnold, man, stepped up huge, right? And I love the fact that the defense in the second half, they made those big stops when it mattered most, right? They came up with a stop that led to a touchdown for us, right, to take the lead. They came up, Dallas Turner getting right not long after that, getting a tip, leading to Terrion Arnold's interception, right? Defense was big when they needed them to be, and then we were able to seal the deal and close it out. Really the only, I wouldn't even say dim light, but the only thing I would point out, Will Reichard, which is basically very, unusual for him, those 2 missed field goals. Which again, it's fine. It is what it is. He might have had a little bit of a rusty day, but other than that, man, I thought offense was very impressive. You said you thought we needed about 40, so you're right on that. We had 42, would have been 48 if we had those field goals. So offense did their job. They did their part. And then, like I said, defense was able to make the adjustments and corrections that needed to be made when they needed to be made. So, I mean, a really impressive win, a statement win, in my opinion. Alabama now in control of the West. All they got to do is go on the road and beat Kentucky this upcoming week, which is going to be a test for them. But look, I think the way they're playing right now, as long as they keep sticking to their game and they keep playing the way they're playing, like I said, I love that the offense has been able to kind of finally take shape. I know we talked about that early on. It looks like it's taking shape. Well, now, in my opinion, it's really taking shape. You've got the quarterback design runs. They're attacking the perimeter. We've seen pop passes. They're able to take the top off the defense when that allows it, and they're able to run the ball physically at will. At least they have in the last couple of weeks. That's the type of offense we thought we'd see with Jalen Milroe at quarterback, being able to run the football, being able to use his athletic ability to run the football and quarterback design runs. I love, like you said, that look, if I'm Jalen Milroe, what he was doing last night was perfect. If it's not there, and we've been saying that, if it's not there, go. We saw how effective that was. It obviously is effective for Jayden Daniels and LSU. That's one of the main contributing pieces to why their offense is so effective and explosive. And we saw how effective that was for Jalen Milroe. Again, ended up having 155 yards on the ground. And some of them were designed runs, but majority of them were him just scrambling, right? And then, having almost 500 yards or 500 plus yards, man, of offense was really good. So, really impressive win. Got to do it again this upcoming week against a pretty decent Kentucky team on the road. You come back, play, I think, there's a Chattanooga, then finish out going out on the road against Auburn, which we know they've got a dual threat quarterback. They're probably going to try to use him to run all around. They're not a great team, but it's always tough going and playing at Auburn, and you know what that entails. But look, Alabama really is in control of their destiny as of now. It's shaping up for them to be in Atlanta, and they're probably going to be facing Georgia, right? With that being said, that's a few weeks away, but it's starting to finally take shape. But I like the way this offense and this team in general is trending right now. And, and just a really impressive win, 42-28 over LSU.
All right. Let me, good stuff, by the way. But I got some takeaways. I want to give praise. I like heaping, I like to be fair. I'm very critical what I need to be. And I think that's why people love our show, because we try to be honest and, we ain't going to paint the sky blue all the time. But praise to Tommy Reese, right? I've been on his tail all year long. And I'm glad you listened to the Miller's Edge on the Tide 100.9, probably listen to our podcast. And I think he listened to the POP because that game plan is what I've been preaching. It's what I've been preaching all year long. Run the quarterback counter, attack the perimeter, use pop passes, use those athletic law and those and Prentice and all these receivers that you got. Get the ball in the hands of your playmakers. They did that, right? They moved guys around. They didn't just your typical snap it, turn around and hand the ball off to Chase McClellan. They did a lot of things different all game. They made the defense question. And when you implement the quarterback run, you got to have somebody that's committed in that box. So they made the defense of LSU change. So kudos, Tommy Reese, as I'm driving. Kudos to you, buddy, because you heard the cry of the people and you changed and you adjusted and you took that time off during the bye week to sharpen your number two pencil and draw things up, right? And you did it against your former boss who wanted you to go to LSU, but you chose to come to the University of Alabama. I mean, so A plus for Tommy Reese, A plus for the defense of Alabama. I thought they did a good job. Now let me retract that. B minus for the defense.
I was about to say A plus.
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah. No. I lost my mind for a minute. I was so excited that they say A plus. Okay, first half D minus because there. I was watching this game and I'm calling out plays myself, and people in the Medora room, excuse me, the Arnold cigar was looking at me like, "How do you know this?" I'm like, "I watch a lot of football." And I know when they spread you out, when they
Talking
motion
about the
out to empty,
draws. You talking about the draws?
yeah,
Yeah. That
yeah.
was driving.
I lost my ever loving mind in R&R cigars. I threw my cigar down. I was going crazy. And I'm like, if I know this, who haven't studied no tape, if I know this, why don't these players know this? Why don't the coach warn to scream and yell at them, say, hey, this is going to happen? I watched enough LSU football to know this is what's going to happen. Not just LSU, but everybody does this. So, especially like 5 or 10 yards in, right? You have to know these things. And then the quarterback runs. I don't know what Coach Saban was talking about with you at halftime because I didn't see no spy. I mean, if there was a spy on the field, he must have been flying in the air. I didn't see no spy out there, bro.
I
I
think
didn't.
I think you I didn't either, and I didn't either. That's what I was saying earlier. I think they had like a middle linebacker somewhat spying, but it wasn't like a traditional spy where you're almost hugging the line and you're really spying. I think it was almost like a off the ball type spy. You're right though.
Yeah.
Whatever they were doing in the first half was not effective. I mean, because that guy was having a field day, boy.
Oh my God. It was like I was going berserk. Listen, Jayden Daniels is a phenomenal athlete, but he was running 25 yards, Christian, and nobody was not even close to him. Right? This is this was pathetic. Let's just call it like it is.
Hey man,
This
hey,
was.
oh my,
I'm just saying. It's pathetic that this guy can go 20, 25 yards and not even be touched. That's a problem, right? Because we tell the good and the bad. That was ugly. That was heartbreaking. As a defensive player, when you got them in third down, you know how important when you play an offense like LSU, how important possessions are. And you let this guy continuously break you down like that, and nobody is not even close. They holding him up like his powder puff. No,
I think you're hitting a bad spot. You're going in and out. But you're right. It was frustrating, right? I wouldn't go as far as saying it pathetic because obviously the guy is a really good athlete, and he's been doing that to everybody all year, right? It's not like he just magically did it against us. But with that being said, it was frustrating. However, he obviously is a really good athlete, and like Coach Saban said, when you're playing, man match coverage, a lot of guys end up having their backs turned. So if he breaks that initial cage or that initial pocket, you know what I mean, and guys have their backs turned, you're in trouble. That's a lot of grass and a lot of guys that aren't paying attention or that can't see. Guys don't have eyes in the back of their heads. But you definitely have to find a way to contain it. And what he talked about in his post game, if you guys didn't notice, basically what he did was ended up in the second half bringing five guys and playing straight man. But when you're bringing those five guys like that, you have more guys to create that cage, and it was more effective. And so that was the way to play it. For some reason in my head, I was thinking, a spy would make sense just because and maybe we just didn't have the right guy at spy. I feel like if we had a Harold Perkins, that type of athlete, really truly spying, I don't know. But again, it is hard, as a spy, I mean, to cover so much ground, especially because your job is to spy the quarterback and trail him. But there's just so many windows. If a window is open, if a window opens up and you take the bad angle, or I mean, he's out of there because he's just a really good athlete. Um, so that definitely was tough, but they got to figure it out in the second half, and that's what matters, right? And that's what we've seen from this Alabama team, right, this year. They find ways to adjust and adapt at halftime. They come out, they get it corrected, and we see a much better team. I mean, that second half was a great showing by the defense specifically. I want to say we shut them out in the fourth quarter for sure, and I think we held them to only 7 points in the second half. So that's really impressive. Yeah, they only scored 7 points in the second half, and I think we shut them out in the fourth quarter. Right? Obviously, Jayden Daniels got knocked out of the game by Dallas Turner, took a mean shot to the chin, but that's part of the game, right? While we get him back in here, because I think he's probably dealing with some connection issues. He is on the road, headed back from Tuscaloosa. Let's get to some of these super chats that we missed. Let's go to Adam. Adam again, presented by Adam Lamparello, our guy. Adam, I hope you got the package I sent. Threw in a couple things in there for you. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, so here we go. First one. Adam says, "Hi, Christian. The defense looked great last night. What exactly is Ripley's coverage? Does that mean the defense picks players to cover based on the routes they run? And how is that different from zone match coverage?" Adam, that's a great question. Actually, it pretty much is like a man match coverage. So basically, if it's 2 by 2, the guy who's lined up on 2, you pretty much have all of 2 vertical and out, pretty much. Yeah, I can't remember if you play smash rules or not, but it is kind of like a man match coverage. But typically, we'd play Ripley's in like cover 3, cover 6, those kind of things, right? So it is a man match coverage. Here's my dad back in here, but yeah, typically you see it in like cover 3. And so, like I said, if it's 2 by 2, if I'm the Sam linebacker and I'm lined up on the Y, which is the tight end, right? If it's 2 by 2, we're going to be communicating rip Liz. I'm going to cover that guy. If I have 2 vertical, if he goes vertical and one goes both go vertical, I got to take him, right? If somebody breaks off to the flat, if he goes out or whatever, then I end up being a flat player. So typically that's how rip Liz works. So then the middle linebackers are like hook droppers in rip Liz, right? So that's a really good question. But when Coach Saban talks about man match, basically cover 7 is a man match type defense. Is very similar, right? I mean, it's not necessarily true man, but it turns into man when guys, and you have to buy guys, as we say, when they come through your zone, right? I think he's still froze. Let me try to get him back connected in a second. But yeah, so that's typically how that works. But that's what Coach Saban was saying. Like when they're playing those man match coverages and they have those vertical routes and they have to turn and they take those guys, they have to buy them. Their backs are turned, right? So now it's all on the guys up front in the pass rush, right? Or some of the underneath droppers that might have their eyes forward to stop a guy like Jayden Daniels. It's tough. It presents a lot of challenges, and we saw that last night. But you just got to find the best way to combat it. And I guess last night the best way was rushing 5. That's what they did in the second half, and it really forced the issue, right? You brought it to them. I think what was happening earlier in the game was guys were on different levels, right? In the rush, right? You didn't get enough penetration up front to really press the pocket, and it is hard. It's almost like you don't really know how to go about it because you look at it and you're like, all right, we can really try to collapse the pocket on this guy. We can really try to bring it, but then we might get on different levels, which was what was happening, and he was escaping, right? Or you can say, all right, we can try to just kind of just create that, that cage, not really try to, rush too much, but just try to contain him. But then he's sitting back there all day and has all day to throw. So it's a big challenge. That LSU, I'm telling you, that LSU offense, there's a reason they're the top offense in the country. I mean, there's a reason they're so explosive, not only, through the air, but also through the ground. You see that running back's good, but really majority of their rushing yards comes from the quarterback. And that's why we've been saying this whole season that, we were just waiting on our offense to be able to do that with Jalen Milroe because that's his skill set. That's his athletic ability. you see how effective it is when you have a guy or that type of athlete at quarterback. That's what can happen. They can rush for over 100 something yards themselves, not even counting the running backs. And so those are some of the challenges that are presented, when you play a quarterback like that. But Adam, sorry, I kind of drifted away. But yeah, to answer your question, that's rip plays. You see it in a lot of cover three, right? It pretty much is a match coverage. You end up matching guys in that, but you also can end up zoning off depending on if there's a flat route. You can come off that guy and you got to play the flat. If you are that guy on number two, like I always explain, like me when I played, Sam linebacker in this defense. But really good question. I hope that it helps you out a little bit. Maybe I can really try to break it down. But when you talk about these different defenses, there's so many addendums when you have different formations, different personnel. So it really changes a lot of stuff. But I see right now you said you got the package. So yeah, awesome, man. I'm glad you got that. And obviously, thank you so much for all your support and especially another $50 super chat. Man, you're so gracious. We appreciate all the support. Let's go to another super chat. We've got 60. What's up, man? We got 4228 super chat. I love it. He says, with my Alabama victory and my Minnesota Vikings victory, can't get any sweater. Roll Tide and go Vikes. Hey, Roll Tide 60. Thank you again for the support, man. And yeah, I like the Vikings too. My dad played for the Vikings 1 year. That was his last year. And that's probably like the year I kind of remember. I think I was like 4 when he retired. And I just remember I liked the colors when I was younger. And he also was teammates with Randy Moss. And I thought that was the coolest thing. I used to love Randy Moss as a kid. So I like the Vikings too. Obviously, I'm a Panthers guy now because that's what I played for. But, I respect the Vikings. I do like the Vikings. But, yeah, shout out to them. And obviously, shout out to Alabama. And again, just a really impressive game, man. I mean, this team, we've said it. They've progressed, week in and week out. That's what we saw last night. LSU is a good football team. The defense is mediocre. Their numbers, they think they come in like 80 something in both, rushing defense and passing defense. They're obviously not the best defense, but still, you got to tip your hat. I mean, again, they have guys. They have great players, right? They might not, rank the best, but they've got some players over there. And look, man, you got to tip your hat to our offense for what they've done. Like my dad was saying, I think we've got him back in here now. Tommy Reese had a great game plan. Tommy Reese has even been improving, right? I don't know if he's just getting more comfortable and confident like Jalen Milroe is, or he's starting to kind of see, what guys play best where. But we've seen chippers now, which has helped out dramatically in pass pro. We've seen a lot more movement pre-snap to really try to get guys on different levels and really stress the defense, which is awesome. And overall, the offense is just playing with a lot more continuity and they're a lot more fluid. And I love the fact that we're able to run the football much more effectively. That's something we had been waiting on. That was supposed to be our bread and butter going into the season with the personnel that we have, these big guys up front, right? You talk about the addition, is it Jayden Robertson, big 77. I don't know why we didn't have him in there earlier. That guy's a unit, man. Him and Booker, those guys getting movement at the guard positions, right? Latham, obviously, big physical tackle. And I got to tip my hat also to the young buck at left tackle, right? Caden Proctor's been playing better. Now, obviously, he's got some of the assistance with the chippers, but look, man, he's starting to grow up. He's doing good. He played a good game. And, they just got to keep up the pace, right? Now is not the time to let off the gas. I know they're in control of the West right now. You go on the road to play a solid Kentucky team, and you got Chattanooga, and you finish with Auburn. So, obviously, you look at the schedule, and you're like, all right, the best teams are behind us, so to speak, other than Kentucky this last one. But you don't want to take your foot on the gas. You want to use this momentum as motivation and keep riding it because the true test is going to be in Atlanta for SEC championship game, more than likely against a really solid football team in Georgia. And if you take care of business, and again, I know that's far out there, but we're just that's in our vision, right? You take care of business, then you're in the college football playoffs and you're competing for a national championship, right? Who knows what can happen then? We don't know. Nobody knows, but if you keep playing the way you're playing right now, you've got a chance, man. You can compete with anybody in the country. And that's truly what I believe. I really do feel that way. I think this is a really good football team that's hitting their stride at the right time. And you got to tip your hat also to Coach Saban and the rest of these coaches. They've done a really nice job, growing alongside this team and getting this team in position to make improvements, to get better week in and week out. And that's what we said early on when everybody was freaking out after the Texas game and everybody was that like, everything was on fire. It was coming down, burned, and the dynasty's over. We kept saying, relax, man. It's one game. It's only, week 2, whatever week it was, things week 2. You have to relax. These things take time, especially a team with a whole new offensive coordinator, a young offensive coordinator, Kevin Steele just coming back. I know he's been here before, but again, he's returning. So he's technically new, or at least newer, right? You got a brand new quarterback in Jalen Milroe, who's young, right? Still needed more experience. A lot of these pieces needed time to come together. They needed time to mesh and mold. Now we're finally seeing that come to fruition. These guys are finally taking shape and having the success that we thought they could have. And there's still some things they can still do a little bit better. They're not perfect, but they're hitting their stride at a good time, and we're starting to see them finally mold into the team that we thought they could be. I think we've got my dad back here, back and rolling. There he is. Can you hear us?
My Wi-Fi was doing great, and showed a great signal, but it went out. But yeah, thank you guys, Adam. Thank you for the super chat, 60. Love you, brother. Thank you for the super chat as well. But yeah, I think this team. I think Coach Saban likes his team a lot because he's. I'm telling you right now. I'm gonna go ahead and say this. This might be the best coaching job Nick Saban has done in a long time because you start the season, don't know who your quarterback is. You got all these quarterbacks in the oven. You bench Milroe. People like myself lost it on you. And what are you doing? People don't want Milroe to. We don't have any receivers. I mean, all the noise, all the rat poison. But this team hasn't been pretty ways to win, and to see where they are today, going into Week 10, controlling the destiny, beating some really good football teams, by the way, in conference, and now basically got to win one game, and they're in Atlanta. I mean, you got to say that this is the best job Coach Saban has done. Him and his staff have done in a very, very long time. And this is good news because this team is only going to get better, and they're getting better every week. And we've seen the most complete game, right, that we've seen thus far, even though the first half wasn't great. But the offense went toe to toe with this high powered, high octane offensive LSU. They went toe to toe. We talked about not getting behind. They fell behind. They came right back. Milroe making play after play. I mean, I can't give him enough praise, man. I mean, a lot of those third down runs, improvising the little dunk head of the defender a couple of times. I mean, this dude plays some ball, and I tell you what, I'm so happy and proud of what he has accomplished up to this point because it's been really good. I mean, they were on CBS talking about. I'm home, by the way. Praise the Lord. They were talking about Heisman type of stuff. Milroe has that ability. Yeah, I'm not crazy. He has that ability to be that dual threat, that the type of guy that we saw in Jayden Daniels. He can make all the throws. Once he get those short intermediate routes down, once he get more decisive, he's only going to get better. And Tommy Rees calling games that fits what he does best, it's only going to be better. So kudos to Nick Saban and the coaching staff. I mean, they still got some things to fix, right? I was talking about the defense before I got cut off. I think Nick Saban God and cut me off when I was saying about this defense. Nobody's running and catching up with Jayden Daniels. They got to get better at that because that hurt them last year, 95 yards on the ground. He almost doubled that up this year. What did he go, 160 something rushing? Had 138 in the first half, but they adjusted. That is key. They made the necessary adjustments in the second half, giving up 7 points. Gave up nothing last 2 weeks ago against Tennessee in the second half. So I think that's good news because they are doing this. The trajectory of this football team is heading in the right place. And so I think, you got to feel good, Alabama Nation, of what this team is doing. They just got to finish strong. They can't let the guard down. They can't go to Kentucky feeling good about themselves and think they can just roll the Alabama helmet on the field. That's when you get beat. That's when, you slip up and you look at like, how did this happen? They got to put the mindset of be where your feet are, controlling the day, getting better. It's not about Kentucky. It's about Alabama. They have a goal. They have a destination. They have an appointment in Atlanta. And that's what they got to continue to do. because that's what they're going to have to do to get to the college football playoff with a chance to win a national championship. So um, overall, I think that the everything was good. My only other negative in this game, because I like to point those out, is the play call. It's 4th and 1, and he sends the kicker out, and I'm screaming again, go for it. Put your foot on the neck of this team. Don't allow them to have any opportunity. You have been crushing them running the football. And I said, Coach Saban, why kick a field goal? Just run it. They haven't stopped you all day, right? The butt push, the tush push. I mean, you got put a big lineman back there. You're going to get a yard. Jalen's 235. Like, go for it. I mean, Will is struggling. You can see he had a tough day 0 for 2, and I knew the announcers were going to curse him. I hate when they do that. But I wish he would have just had gone for that, Christian, and just game over. But you give them another opportunity, and I'm like, man, they go down and score onside kick. We're talking about this is a whole different ball game. So I wish they would have went for it on 4th down to close out the game. I wish someone would have asked him that in the press conference. I don't think I heard anybody ask him about that because that could have been a big play in the game. But overall, kudos to this team. I think they're in good shape. They should beat Kentucky. We know they're going to beat Chattanooga. And then, of course, the Iron Bowl is the Iron Bowl, which scares me. And I tell you why. Not because they're a good team, but because the quarterback who runs had last year, remember, Christian, what he had? He had 100-something yards. I mean, he ran all over the defense. So you have to go and look at what you're doing, right? And what they were doing was, when you play a quarterback like this, if I went into that defensive room, I tell T. Rob and Kevin Steele this: we supposed to have number 1 first-round type corners, right? We got good slot guys, we got good safeties. At some point in time, you got to put them to the test. And you got to bring pressure. You cannot let Jay Daniels sit back in that pocket. He's too good. He's too fast. And you running stunts with your interior linemen having to try to contain. They're too slow. You got to have athletic guys out there. Okay? You got to have edge guys that can move, can close. You can't sit back and be passive and let him just run 30 yards down the field. I mean, I was frustrated with that. And they started to bring more pressure in the second half. They made some adjustments, but I'm like, what are y'all doing? It was not the smartest defense that you can run against this type of player. They should know that. They should have to wait till the second half because, I mean, there was times he had all day. He's standing back there, and then the rush breaks down, containment breaks down, and there he goes. Guys 30 yards, 40 yards down the field covering receivers. That's why he had 160 whatever yards he had. So, but the good news is they made the necessary adjustments. But when you playing a guy like this, Christian, you got to blitz him. You got to come after him. You got to get the ball out of his hands. They didn't trust their secondary. They didn't trust Kool-Aid, which I don't blame them, to be honest with you. And they didn't trust Terry Arnold, who I thought played fantastic, right? They didn't trust him early to say, hey, I'm going to put my dog on your dog. Let's play. And I hope we're gonna hit this quarterback. We're gonna get his butt on the ground. We're gonna make him think about it. They didn't do that in the first half, but they did make adjustments. So kudos for what they did in the second half. So those are my negative takeaways. I think it's always important to highlight those. I think it's important to highlight those things because those things can get you beat. And they're going to face other athletic dual threat guys, and they're going to turn on the tape. And you're going to run 3-man rush. You're going to run 4 with a spy. But I didn't see a spy. I didn't see your typical. I saw 40 spying Jayden many times. Right, he was right there. But I didn't see us having spies out there. I got to go back and watch it because Coach Saban said they must have did it a different way because I've never seen it done the way they. I didn't see a spy. As I said, the spy might have
Right.
been up there, up in the stands, like that Michigan guy spy. But I didn't see your traditional spy out there at all. So, but nonetheless, a great win, a 2 touchdown win. This offense punched. They could. I don't even think we punted. I don't think we punted at all.
I had to
I
go
don't
back
think.
and look at the scoring drive.
I'm pretty
Uh,
sure we did. I don't think we punted the football at all. I don't think LSU punted it once.
yeah, I mean that sounds about right. But to your point, I'll say this. Yeah, like I said earlier, they must have been spying when he said that. When I interviewed him, I was thinking back. I was like, man, maybe I just couldn't see from where I was at on the sideline. But I'm assuming it was like maybe they had Deontay Lawson or Tresman Marshall or even Jahad Campbell, whoever was that off the ball linebacker. They might have had him like as an off the ball spy, which isn't your really traditional spy. But
Mhm.
yeah, but I will say this: you brought up the point earlier about the draw, right? That was
Mhm.
driving me nuts. Now, everybody knows, like you said, when they're spreading you out like that, there's no reason to. The athletic receivers that they have, you don't have to go, spread five. They're doing that just to spread you out to run the draw. I mean, that play
Yeah.
is coming. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they didn't there's no other reason for them to go empty. So you would think that they would have picked up on that, but that drove me nuts. And then the play right before the half, I think it might have been Amos.
Uh,
They threw it right in the middle of the field. You've got to secure the tackle. You have to have situational awareness. I'm not picking on them, but we're just trying to use this as a teaching point. That's what we do. In a situation like that, guy caught the ball with 4 seconds, whatever it was. You secure the tackle. Don't go for the incompletion. They could have kicked the field goal from where they were at originally, right? Would have been a lot further out, but you don't try to be a hero right there. You secure the tackle. He didn't secure the tackle, and they
mhm.
ended up scoring 7 instead of 3. Those type of mistakes can get you beat. You got to have situational awareness as a football player to know whatever I do, don't let them in the end zone, right? They can have a field goal. They're
Mhm.
already in field goal range for the most part, but do not let them score. That was a big mistake in the first half as well. Or everybody's saying, I think they're saying that was Christian Story. Maybe, yeah, I think that, okay, Christian Story. My bad, Amos. I got it wrong. That was Story.
Well, what
But
who's number? One of them got hurt with the hip. One
Jalen
is
Key got hurt early on. He didn't return. Yeah, we'll go ahead and give you your Andrew Sports Medicine. They sponsor our radio show. We'll give you the Andrew Sports Medicine injury update. I'm just doing this on the spot. I don't even remember everybody. I know Deontay Lawson ended up going back in the locker room. He returned. He suffered I think it was an ankle injury or something, lower leg extremity injury,
he
and
suffered. He got his ankle broke.
he
that
literally got his ankles
I
broke on
mean,
that. That was
that's
a
gonna
tough
be on the
play.
highlight somewhere. Sorry, Deontay. I'm sorry, brother. Boy, that was real ugly. I hope your homeboys didn't see that.
He might have
Oh,
had like he might have misstepped or something, but I was right there, and it
he
looked like
messed
he
up
got
all right.
sniped. I'm not gonna lie. I think someone's saying we punted once, but the thing is, yeah, he went back in the locker room again, came back out, but then he ultimately, I think came back out in street clothes. So we got to get an update on Deontay Lawson. Jalen Key went
See
down,
here.
didn't return to the game. Ja'Cory Brooks ended up leaving the game and didn't return. So we have to get some updates on those guys. Obviously, Coach Saban will have those updates for you. I think Terrion Arnold had got banged up on that.
He came back though.
Yeah, he came back. I think he just got the wind knocked out of him. But look, ultimately a really good win, and I really think Alabama is in good position right now. I think somebody asked earlier, do I think they win the West? Absolutely. At this point, they just need to
All
take
they
care of
gotta do
business.
is beat Kentucky.
Yeah, take care
That's
of
a done
business this
deal.
weekend. Yeah, you
Yeah.
take care of business this weekend against Kentucky on the road. I'm pretty sure it's all set. And we know, you win the West, you're in Atlanta, and that's where we want to be. We want to be in Atlanta, taking on whoever it is, whether it's Georgia, Tennessee, whoever. That's where we want to be, and I think that's where we will be taking on the Georgia Bulldogs. But again, we got to take it one day at a time. But let's get to some of these comments. That being said,
By the way, it's
uh,
great to meet Dr. Crystal
oh yeah,
at
yeah,
Buffalo's
yeah.
Cafe on Friday. She came out. Her daughter was Chase, the
No, no,
little
no. Her
nephew,
si-
her son,
her sister and
sister.
her son Chase. Yep. So shout out to Dr. Crystal. I don't know if Dr. Crystal's on right now, but if she rewatches it or
Yeah,
um, Yeah, or if
Shout out,
anybody
Doc.
knows she's watching, yeah, shout out to Dr. Crystal and everybody else who came by. Again, we do our show live, our radio show we do live from Buffalo's Cafe in Midtown Village in Tuscaloosa every Friday of home game weekend. So we only got one more. So we're off this upcoming Friday, but the next Friday for Chattanooga we will be back at Buffalo's Cafe. So come hang out
And
with us,
by the
enjoy
way,
some good food.
Dr. Crystal is from Baton Rouge.
No, she's
Remember,
from
she said
Tuscaloosa, but she lives in Baton Rouge.
lives in Baton Rouge, but she hates gumbo. Remember, she said I thought it was
She
so
does.
funny. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't go with her there because I
I
love me
couldn't.
some
Yeah,
gumbo.
me too.
Yeah.
I couldn't get behind her with that. But let's see. Matter of fact, everybody who's in there, go ahead and comment where you're from, where you're listening from. I know it's been a couple weeks. Everybody's saying it's been. Yeah, we had some family stuff going on, but we're back. We'll be back again for the Miller's Edge Extra this Thursday. If you guys want us, I mean, we owe you a couple shows or so. So if you guys want us to do an extra show this week, let me know. Maybe we can go live on Tuesday
We
or
can go
hell even
live
tomorrow.
anytime. I go live driving down the interstate. It don't matter.
That's right, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, I missed there's a bunch of comments and questions in here. So if you guys got any questions, go ahead and
I
comment
got
now.
time
We can get to
because
you.
I got my cigar. Praise Jesus. I made it home safe. I had to
We've got
reroute and go through Greenville to Columbia today. So, let me tell
nice.
you a funny story though. Before
Wait,
we
hold
go,
on. We got
okay.
Ed in here from Salt Lake City, Zach from Huntsville, but he's in Maryland. Let's see, Travis in
Salt Lake
Talladega.
City, Utah.
I'm assuming
Yeah,
so, yeah. That's
I've
cool.
been
We've
there.
got
I've been there. I've been.
Bama Hammer, Jacksonville, Florida via Birmingham. Nice. Mimi
I
says, love
love.
the show. Thanks, Mimi.
We love Mimi. She's on X all the time. Love for
Oh
all
yeah,
her great comments. Yeah, she responds to a lot of stuff I
we
post
got.
and we post from the middle of it. So thank you, Mimi.
Thank you. We got Mike from Prattville. We've got Hacker
Was that
from
Alabama?
yeah, that's where OJ Howard's from. Speaking of OJ, that just made me think of it. Kid Rock was on the sideline. I got a picture with him yesterday. That was pretty cool. I don't know why you're shaking your head. I'm gonna pull it up too. Look, man, dude, bro,
You and
Kid
your
Rock
style.
is a legend.
You have Matthew McConaughey, and I know it's
Matthew
McConaughey.
McConaughey.
I know that. I'm special.
You're just a hater that you don't attract this type of crowd when you're on the sideline. That's me and Kid Rock yesterday.
You got a cane, like a pimp cane, or just a cane for
He's
real
got the
medical?
cane and the cane is like a snake cane. It's
Kind of
very
weird.
fitting. Nice Kid
Well,
Rock, dude. Like, come on, man.
I
We
love Kid
got
Rock.
Lisa from Columbus, Mississippi. We've got Anthony from Dallas, Arlington area. Bobby from Bay Minette.
Who's winning that game? Jayden or Dak? They're playing
We'll have
right
to look
now.
that up.
I got it. You go ahead and give it your.
Yeah, I was seeing everybody that was in here, man. Just wanted to tell everybody what's up. And like I said, it's been a couple weeks. So I think did I miss this already? I think I might have missed this. Bobby Sprinkle with a $2 super chat. He says, I love your show. I cannot speak today, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. I had a long day yesterday. I was on the radio all day. Bobby, we appreciate the super chat and your support, man. Thanks so much. It's good to be back on here, hanging out with you guys. Just offering our thoughts on the game last night. What were y'all's thoughts on the game? Were y'all impressed? Were y'all pleased? I mean, obviously you're happy that we got a win, but what was y'all's takeaways? What'd y'all think? 6-0 says Bryce is struggling though.
Yeah.
Poor Bryce, man. I feel for him. I know it's not easy,
well,
Bryce. Hang in there.
When you're number one pick, you're not going to a good team. So, if you get number one, that's a blessing and a curse.
That's true. But I mean, the Texans picked what? 2? They had the number 2 pick, right?
And CJ Stroud, he threw for 470 yards today. The number 2 pick in last year's NFL draft. 470 yards versus the Bucs. He set NFL rookie record today. CJ Stroud.
That's all I'm going to say though. You said, "Oh, well, you get drafted to a bad team." Well, CJ Stroud went number 2, and Houston hadn't been a great team. So
the Panthers is your
listen. Terrible. I know they're not a great organization. I hate to say it like that. I love my teammates. I love every last one of my teammates. And I'm very grateful for the Panthers. right? But if I'm being transparent, that's exactly why I said I was nervous about him going there because I just know as an organization, they don't always do the things necessary to have success, specifically for a quarterback. It's tough, man. It's tough. So I hope he
Well,
can weather the storm, brother. Just stay, just stay you, man. Don't let it affect you and your mental, man. Just keep at it, man. Trust the process, brother. I know it's not easy. So let's get some of these reactions. Hacker says happy with the win and with the offense. I put up there. Wasn't a happy camper in the first half watching the defense. Yeah, I mean, and really, it really look. I'll say this: they did a good job, stopping the regular, running game, right? Not Jayden Daniels. They were solid there. They had some really nice pass breakups in the first half. Obviously, there's that one big shot to Malik Neighbors, who let's just go ahead and say that dude is a dog. He's solid. Malik Neighbors is solid,
that
but
was
he
great. That was great coverage too. That was great coverage.
Whoa,
Beautiful
on that
throw and
one, no,
catch.
on that one catch, yes, but on his touchdown though, that was a bust in the secondary. I think Jalen Key was supposed to have secondary support, but initially he had bad eyes. He kind of came up. Neighbors got behind. Malachi was covering him, but I think he was supposed to have secondary
But let me ask
support.
you this, Christian: Does
So,
anybody in America have more secondary breakdowns than Alabama's? I don't. I said this last night watching the game, and
oh, here we go.
you know how much football that I watch. I watch tons of it.
You
Right?
do.
I've never seen so many breakdowns, miscues, mistakes than I have seen with Alabama secondary. And I know Coach and T. Rob coaches the secondary, right? But they make more mistakes than anybody that I've ever seen. It's just
I've already
unbelievable.
explained. I've already explained this,
I
man.
know, but it keeps. I'm telling you right now, if they
Explain what.
simplify, the defense of Alabama is too complicated. They don't have. That's why this defense sometimes is a little bit. These guys don't know what they're doing, and I think every game, even if it's not diagnosed on TV, I see the mistakes every game because I think these kids are thinking too much. If I was an analyst and the coach asked me, I was the coach. You guys are thinking too much, and when you think too much as a defensive player, and your mind is cluttered, you can't play free. And when you can't play free, you definitely can't play the game fast and furious. That will be, I would say, how can you coach without getting away from everything and all your principles defensively? What can you do to simplify some things, right? And I think with the secondary guys we got, I know they play a lot of man already, but they are their best when they play man coverage. It's when they go to these zone principles, cover seven, and all this stuff. This is when things get cloudy because the back
Because
end.
there's a lot of addendums. That's why. That's what I was explaining. Like, there's so many different rules where you got this guy. You got all of two if one is vertical. You got all of three if two goes up or out. If he does this, then what happens is these coordinators that are familiar with the system or know how we like to play things, they take those rules just like Sarkisian. They're like, all right, we know they like this apex player is going to cover this guy with this set of rules. If one does any in breaking whatever, but then they do it just enough. Like they how do you explain this? They like alter the routes, right? Where it muddies it up. It creates confusion. Like some of those like deep overs. I mean, the guy's going vertical for, you know, over 10 yards. You got to buy that. But sometimes these guys get confused because they're like, all right, I got him vertical, but he just bent it in. It doesn't matter. You got to buy. So it's little things like that that typically results in busts. I get it. I guarantee you, though, if you watch other games, they probably have just as many mental errors or busts. We're just going to be a little more prone to it just because the complexity of our defense, the complexity of our coverages. However, on the flip side, it allows us to be a lot more effective when we do play it right. Right? If guys know how to properly communicate and adjust, it is much more effective. There's a reason that Coach Saban has the success that he's had, and in part of that is due to his system. So I agree with you. It is frustrating sometimes when you see those things happening. But if guys are on the same page and they're communicating, they're properly executing, then it's very hard to defeat these defenses. That's the thing. I get what you're saying, though. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to just saying, shoot, we got a first round corner in Kool-Aid. We've got a rising, corner in Terrion Arnold, who, again, I mean, you watch him. I mean, he was sticking those dudes like glue last night, right? So I'm with you. I wouldn't be opposed to just saying let them play. But now I forgot to mention that earlier. That was the other thing. You're right, though. In the first half, man, I said during the pregame show, I thought we would have much better pass rush in this game. I thought this game would kind of, be similar to a Texas type game, but I thought the difference in this one would be our pass rush has really come to life the last few weeks. I thought we would be terrorizing Jayden Daniels, right? We didn't necessarily see that, man. And I don't know, maybe LSU's tackles are a lot better than some of the ones we've been facing. I don't know. Listen, no. Okay, so then explain why, Dallas and Chris weren't just having that same success.
Because they were been preached to all week long about contain and don't rush past the quarterback. They were rushing very conservative. They were blocking themselves. This is the other thing I screamed last night. Any pass rusher that just runs into a 350-pound tackle, you are just blocking yourself. And what they were doing was every time they try to get off and Jayden is escaping outside the fence, they just a slight pull and a tug, and he's gone. Right? And they weren't calling that. Go back and watch it. You have to be a football player. Same thing I said about Jalen Milroe. Coaches sometimes can stymie kids from being a football player. You make too much. That's why they were just running and power, just a bull rush, and then they can't get off the tackle. So that, and I knew based on I've said before, he wants to control the rush.
Trying to hit the edge sometimes. Look, I hear what you're saying.
Every blue moon.
I saw them trying to hit the edge sometimes, and they weren't having success with it. I'm just saying.
You got to have, as an edge guy, and Ben, you look at great rushers. They got to have some wiggle. They got to have some geritone. They do have it, but they are scared to use it. Okay, because they become robotic.
Then why were they doing it in the second half? No, they're not. No, I'm telling you, it wasn't. No, they weren't really coming home in the first half. They were struggling to really get pressure. Dude, I hear
running. They were blocking themselves. We can go. You can pull up some tape, right? Dude, I promise you'll see. Pull something up right now, and I bet you'll see Brad has been excellent the last 2-3 weeks. Excellent. Just running.
I agree. That's why that was one of my keys. I thought we would see
that. Because you know as well as what does Coach Saban tell y'all when y'all playing a guy like Jayden Daniels? Don't run past the quarterback.
You were playing with 10 if you do that. I know that. I heard, you know how many times I heard that in 5 years? Like, I get that. And you're right. Maybe it was ingrained with them. Don't run past the quarterback. So maybe it was subconsciously that they were, altering their rush. I'm just saying, like, they didn't necessarily provide that type of pressure that we've seen in recent weeks. I just would say maybe LSU's offensive tackle. Let's ask Chris. We'll ask Chris when we see him. Maybe they were a little bit better.
I'm gonna call Brad. Right, I want to get Brad on here right now.
What time is it? 4:45. They probably got stretch and stride right now. That's all I'm saying. But they look. Dallas and Brads were a lot more effective in the second half, and yes, they dialed up more pressure. However, there was times it was not. That wasn't the only reason. That wasn't the only reason, man. I don't know. I see some people saying, asking about the targeting call.
The one that hit Dallas Turner?
Yeah. So here's my thoughts real quick on that. The initial hit, I did not think was targeting. Now, in the NFL, you cannot pile drive a guy. You can't forcefully put your weight and drive him into the ground. If that was NFL, they would have threw that flag before he even hit the ground, just by his posture. Oh yeah. So was it roughing the passer? Yeah. Definitely roughing the passer. Targeting, I don't think so. I mean, you got to think Dallas.
It wasn't targeting. It definitely wasn't targeting.
I wasn't targeting. I mean, Dallas is what, 6'4", right? Jayden Daniels 6'4". I mean, they're tall guys. I mean, look, it just happens. And when you're playing so fast, I wish refs understand this. Like, you don't especially against an athletic quarterback, you don't have time to sit there and process, okay, let me try to tackle this guy low. And then if you go too low and you tackle him on the knees, at least in the NFL, they call that a penalty. They protect the quarterback's knees. There's really only like this much of a window to hit a quarterback, right? I mean, it's barely over 12 inches, right? I mean, it's literally only this area you can hit a quarterback. If you hit him below the waist in a certain way, then it's a penalty because they feel like you're going after his knees. If you guys don't know this, the NFL, the whole thing about the NFL is protect the quarterbacks at all costs. They're the ones that score all the touchdowns, which brings in more money. So they're always protecting the quarterbacks. So to answer your question, whoever was asking that, let me go back. Was it Timothy maybe? I think they called it targeting. No, they didn't call it targeting because he would have been removed. No, I think it was just roughing the passer. Yeah, but it was roughing the passer, but not targeting. So that's my thought on that. Jeff says that wasn't targeting forward momentum from both players.
Nah, it was definitely
it was not targeting. No, I didn't think it was targeting. I just definitely was roughing the passer.
He hit him. He hit him in the shoulder area. He hit him in the shoulder area, but the roughing came by just like
you can't power drive a guy. You can't do that. You can't drive your weight into a guy as he's falling. Can't do that.
As you know, daylight saving time, 5:45 here on the East Coast, and it's not crazy dark yet, but it's getting dark already.
Oh, I forgot about that. So it's going to get dark early, right?
Yeah, your sunset is at 4:55. So it's in about 10 minutes. I'm home at 5:45. It's not crazy dark, but
whoever, can we like just throw this out? Like, why do we even do it, man? No, it's dark where you're at. I just don't understand why. Whoever came up with that, can we just get rid of it, please? I hate when it just gets dark real early. Like,
I mean, can you see me? No,
yeah, you're good. House in a minute, I mean, we only got probably a few more minutes on here anyways. But yeah, anybody else got any more questions before we get out of here? Real quick, before you guys or while you guys ask those questions, man, make sure if you can, please drop a like. We need as many likes as possible. That helps us out tremendously. So if you can, please drop a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. If you like what you're watching, you like the content, subscribe. I promise we'll get back on our grind, doing a lot more. Again, we've had some family stuff come up. We've been dealing with a lot, but definitely want to get back on here and get back in our routine. So subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything. Make sure you check us out on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter or X, Facebook, all that good stuff at The Miller's Edge. And you can always listen to us on the radio every single day. If you like us that much, listen to us on the radio every single day, Monday through Friday on Tide 100.9. You don't have to be in Tuscaloosa or the surrounding areas to listen to it. You can if you are listening on FM in the area, or you can download the app, Tide 100.9 on your phone, Apple, Android, all that good stuff, or just go to the website, tide100.9.com. Listen, we're on from 11 to 12 Central Time every day, Monday through Friday. You can call in there. I'm still working on doing the call feature here. I know somebody asked about that, doing like a little call-in thing. Maybe we'll do that at some point. If you guys know how to set that up or something, we'll get that going. But you can always do it on our show, Monday through Friday, 11 to 12 Central Time.
You said a call feature?
Well, people want us to have a call line on here, and I was saying I'd love to set that up. I just don't necessarily know how to do that. I mean, I have a business phone. Hell, I can put the number to the business phone and let you guys call in and just hold the phone and the mic. We can do
I'm sorry, move the camera. I'm trying to get some light.
Nah, you're good.
You can see my beautiful features.
Tristan said, I thought it was funny how Nick told Aaron Anderson after the game he'd be playing more at Bama this year. I don't think some people realize that he transferred from Alabama. So they're like, oh, he's tampering. I'm like, no, the guy came from Alabama. But he wasn't wrong. I mean, Aaron Anderson, probably would have been playing a lot more. I mean, right now he's kind of in a receiving group full of studs, which, we got some good guys too. But obviously Coach Saban felt he would have been playing a lot more here. So he just was joking around. And then I like that from Coach Saban. That shows his humor, right? He's able to kind of share a laugh with a guy like that after the game. Even like a Nia Smith. Nia Smith, when we played Texas A&M, was saying all those things about, he takes it personal. He'll never forget how Coach Saban did his brother, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, Coach Saban has known Anias for years, man. I played with Mo Smith. I remember Anias always coming up to Tuscaloosa when Mo was here. And Coach Saban was smiling, shared a good laugh with him after the game, man. Coach Saban's a good dude, man. Even we had everything going on. Coach Saban called me and reached out. We were talking, and he's just very solid dude, man. Love Coach. He does a lot of good stuff for his players. brother, you shining a flashlight. It's okay, man. You
Now,
just look like one of the characters on the game that you haven't unlocked yet. I just see
like
some
when you're
bright
doing,
teeth right now.
you do TV, you got they sometimes do the light when you're dark skinned like me. Like, hey,
Spotlight. All I
how
see
y'all
is
doing?
broken teeth. That looks a little creepy, man. Halloween was last week, brother. It's kind of
I don't
scaring me.
celebrate Halloween.
I know we know you don't. If you guys missed it on our show, he gave a whole spiel on how Halloween is so bad, man. Look, man, I don't get into it too deep. I just like the whole costumes and passing out candy because that was fun for me as a kid, man. This dude here, man, he's so scary, so scared of Halloween,
I don't. It represents evil.
brother. If you dive so deep, like what I'm saying is like if kids just trick or treat, man, dressed up as Spider Man or a little princess or something, and it's just in the Halloween spirit. I pass out candy, like it's cool seeing the different costumes. I once was one of them kids. I was like a Power Ranger and stuff growing up. Like, man, we're not taking it that deep.
I'm saving these kids from diabetes. And I'm getting them all this sugar, then they're gonna need insulin shots and all.
You're saving it from
Now,
them, but you're creating it for yourself. Because if I'm not mistaken, you indulge in some candy, right?
I had a couple of Kit Kats, like the mini Kit Kats.
Oh man,
Moderation, though. Everything is
so
moderation.
you just want to keep as much away from them, so you got more for you.
No, I saw the kids on my camera, right?
You're
My
such
wife
a
told me to
Grinch,
turn.
man.
No, my
You're
wife
such
was
a Grinch. Oh,
out of
watching them kids
town.
on the camera
She
talking to them. Get off my
said,
porch.
Corey, turn the lights off because the lights supposedly are off. They won't come to your front door. Well, I
They're
forgot.
not supposed to.
So,
Some still will, but
and my phone, the camera was buzzing, beep, beep. Kids hitting the thing, trick or treat. I'm like, oh, but on my camera, I could talk to people. So I just said, hey, kids, get off my porch. I don't
such
celebrate
a Grinch,
Halloween.
man. You're such a Grinch, man. Like, why take the fun out of it, man? Like, did you not when
I,
so you I know you're from that little old town, Pageland, in the country, South Carolina. Did y'all even have trick or treating when you grew up?
Come on, man. Yeah. I mean, it was, people that had no money, so they go like to the dollar store or, and buy bags of candy that stick to
So
your
it
teeth.
so it was okay back then. It was okay back then. I know
but,
your
but
family
I
was
didn't
heavy
know
in the
any better.
church back then.
I didn't know any better. My mom never, I mean, we
They
weren't
knew.
putting up witches and
I didn't say heavy.
graveyard, all that stuff in the yard. I mean, all these folks in my neighborhood, I'm driving on big blow up things. I mean, I love Christmas lights. I like to drive around and look at people's beautiful lights and angels. They got a different angels and all these angelic things. But Halloween, oh no!
It's
I
just a
went to
holiday, man.
I went to haunted house one time, and the dude, when one of the rooms came out, like he had a chainsaw. He probably never use that chainsaw again because
Oh, what'd you do? Did you hit him?
he caught some of these. I'm like, man, don't you come, bro. I had to defend myself. I never went back to a haunted house again, ever.
Really?
But I'm not mad at people that celebrate. I mean, the other thing, Halloween parties, I go downtown. Why do the girls feel like this is the time for them to get pretty much naked? I
Hey,
don't. Please help
that's a
me out.
generational thing, man. I mean, they look for any reason to not wear clothes.
I go here at University of South Carolina. I went downtown and going to eat, and it's like, okay, do y'all just use Halloween just to get half naked? Like I don't get that, So,
They do.
but
All
that's all I'm
right, well,
saying.
hold on. But all right, as we digress,
Hey, we can talk.
real
This is
quick though.
the edge. We talk about everything. It don't have to be football.
Nah, that's
What
true.
else
But
y'all
real
want to talk
quick
about?
though, I was going to circle back real quick because I want everybody leave y'all's player of the game, offense and defense. We didn't hit that. That's one thing we didn't hit. We covered pretty much everything else.
Well,
I'll
you
start.
want to tell the people you thought the game was going to be like a 3 point game. You didn't think
I,
Alabama would win like they won.
Okay, first I said 31-27. That was my prediction, right? Okay, and so actually I was pretty damn close with LSU score, right? I was one off. They had 28. But yeah, I said 31 for us. It's not like look, I just knew it was going to be a street fight. Um, Yeah, no, I mean, look, I have no shame in like it's not like I'm like, oh, I was down Alabama. Just I thought it would be
No,
a
you thought
game
it'd
that
be
could come
closer.
down to the wire. I thought it'd be close.
Thank
Hey,
God. Thank
hold
God
on now.
because
Hold on.
Riker was not
And it
on his game. Thank
he
God. Thank God.
he but it could have listen, it could have been a lot closer, right? It definitely could have been a lot closer. Like luckily we adjusted it. Like if not, it was on the taking shape and it was on the trajectory of being a shootout and being maybe a single point type game. Right? That's it was it not? Now, luckily our
It was
defense
it,
it was on track to be that. Our defense though stepped up tremendously in the second half, held them to only 7 points, right? And that was the biggest difference. The offense, they've been doing their thing all that's what I'm saying. The offense is doing their thing all game. I was impressed with that. But we also knew LSU's defense was kind of like their Achilles heel, right? But real quick though, my player of the game, offensively, you got to go Milrow, 4 rushing touchdowns, set a record. I mean, he other than again, he kind of airmailed that one wide open thing, but it ended up making up for it, running it in, and he didn't necessarily look the most accurate that he's been, but like I said, he played a great game. His numbers were still great, and I'll take that any day of the week, twice on Sunday. Again, he was 15 and 23, 219 through the air, no
pretty
touchdowns, but
good.
no turnovers. Yeah, really good. 155 on the ground, 4 touchdowns. But my biggest thing is not even looking at the numbers. I was just so pleased that he was able just to be so much more decisive. And when nothing was there and that window was open, he was taking off. That's his game. Just how Jayden Daniels does, he should be the same exact way. And that's what we saw last night.
You're missing the biggest stat. He didn't turn the ball over.
I said that.
Zero.
I said 0
I did.
turnovers.
I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
said
I
0. I
missed that.
said 0 touchdowns, but also 0 turnovers. And then defensively, honestly, man, Terrion Arnold, he kept
He'd be my
flashing me.
MVP.
Yeah, I was about to say he kept flashing, and obviously he came up with that big turnover. I know it was, created by Dallas's tip, but I'm probably go with Terrion Arnold. He had 5 total
Terry
tackles.
Arnold or Dallas Turner because Dallas knocked Jayden Daniels out the game. And when that
See,
happened, it was game set match, and I love that. I
uh,
tweeted this last night, and people are like, "Oh, you preacher, this, and that, and the third. Why you?" I'm not hoping he got hurt, but listen, when you play this game, it's violence, and your job is not to hurt them where they like permanently hurt. But if I could knock him and get him into the tent and protocol, like, oh yeah, I want to send him to the tent because he'll bounce back. He'll be ready to go. Listen, hit him. Kool-Aid McKinstry, I got to tell you this, Christian. He did it again. He did it. Texas A&M. I'm collecting receipts.
all right. What did he do?
Quarterback run. Here comes Kool-Aid. Pulls up. Don't shoot. Don't take no kind of shot. He did it again. Jayden, he could have knocked his shoulder on the other side. He pulled up. And Jayden, you go for 15 more yards. So can somebody please tell me why won't this man tackle somebody? He's not Deion Sanders. Deion said, "Hey, they paid me to cover, not to tackle." I don't know if you remember that quote.
Mm-hmm.
Kool-Aid is not that. He's solid, very solid. But man, some of these guys, sometimes when I watch it, the effort level is not up to here. So I know what Coach Saban be frustrated with because a lot of times he's jogging. Sometimes I see him even receivers jogging in their routes. But to play championship football, man, it's got to be all out, bro. That's all I'm saying.
I
Great
agree.
win, great win. But when you get into playing top 4, top 6, the Georgias of the world, Oregon, the Washington teams like that. Oh, you can't be, jogging around. So hopefully these guys see these things and get better and continue to work at their craft. And Coach Saban says create value for themselves. Because if they turn on the tape and I look at it like scouts and GMs look at it, I see so many negatives that I will give a lot of these players at times. They
I
just
mean,
got to turn loose, man.
that's everybody. But you're right though. I mean, definitely always want to play with fanatical effort. You always
Yeah.
want to do that. I'm with you. Now players of the game. I mean, I'm sure you're going to say
But
Milrow
Jalen
for
Milrow, I'm gonna go Dallas Turner and Terry Arnold. co-defensive player of the game. I think they tip ball intercepted the tip drill was and Deontay could have had one too. Remember the ball and he went right through his hands. Deontay missed one there, but I thought they played great, both of them. Uh, uh, I
You know,
thought
you know who we're missing though? Caleb Downs. And I saw a lot of people mention him. Led the team in tackles yet again,
again,
another week. True freshman, phenom Caleb Downs had 13 total tackles. He's now up to 76 total tackles on the year, 2 interceptions, one forced fumble. I mean, this guy, man.
he's
And
gonna
I
be
was talking.
defense freshman of the year. He should
Oh,
be
he
the
should be.
freshman of the year. Period.
No, he definitely
Period.
should be. I
Period.
mean, he's doing all that, and he's doing it for an Alabama, Crimson Tide football team, who's one of the top teams in the country. Obviously, we all know everything that comes behind playing for Alabama. This guy's doing that as a true freshman. I was talking to a scout, not going to say what team, but about a couple guys, and his name came up.
Came up.
His name came up. I'm tripping today. His name had come up, and yeah, I mean,
What happens when you talk a lot?
that's true. That's true. But I mean, could you? I mean, bro. I mean, I just can't even like this guy. There's no way I'd watch him and just know that he's a true freshman. If I was watching them play, and I didn't have any numbers or any any info or any of that, I would never know this guy is a true freshman. I mean,
No.
this dude,
Father's a
he's
coach,
probably going to
works
be.
hard.
He's probably. I think his brother. I didn't know this. His brother is a receiver for the Colts. I didn't know
I
his brother was
know.
in the league. Yeah, I didn't know that. But man, yeah, no, just a phenomenal player. I think he'll probably be up for All American honors.
Should.
In my opinion, he should definitely freshman All American. That's easy, but it might just be regular All American. He's definitely going to be All SEC. Yeah, Bama Standards in here. They said Caleb honestly should be All SEC and All American. He definitely will be All SEC, All American. He's definitely going to be freshman All American, but I think he could be second team at least, maybe regular All American as well. But yeah, guys, I mean that's really, it really sums it up, man. 42-28 victory over a solid LSU team, the best offense in the country, right? Holding them to 28 points, very impressive. Got to tip your hat to so many different groups, but specifically the offense line was great. Milrow played great. Running backs were really well. Let's say the offense as a whole. Offense as a whole was really good. They're outstanding. Tommy Reese, got to tip your hat, man. Love the game plan. Love what he was
Way to
doing.
go, T. Reese. Much love, bro.
That's right. Defensively, a little tough in the first half, but again, you're going against the best offense in the country. Second half, whole different story, man. Hold those guys only 7 points. And I don't like taking pride in this publicly, but knocking the quarterback out of the game, man. Look, I'm not going to. It's not like I feel good about that. It's just I like that we finally made him pay for all those runs, right? Not like it was payback, but just like we had a saying, like if a quarterback was going to feel comfortable enough to just run all around like that, you got to make him pay. You got to make him pay if he's going to run the football like that because he's a runner. He's giving himself up as a runner, right? Make him pay. And so we finally saw that in the second half. But a lot of good stuff, man. We'll definitely, I think I saw somebody earlier ask when we'll start talking about Kentucky. We'll definitely start doing that Monday on our show, 11 a.m. Central Time, the Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9. If you guys want, maybe we'll do another show Monday or Tuesday.
We're gonna start it different. I actually kind of like the Sunday vibe. Sometimes the games are, post games is a little tough, but
if it's late, but drop below a day during the week because we already do the Miller's Edge Extra on Thursday. Drop a day below a second day during the week that you guys would like us to hop on here, whether that's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Let us know, and I'll take a poll real quick, and then we'll go ahead and we'll start doing that as well because I want to add in another day. I feel like the post game show, then that one time, I feel like we got plenty of room for more, man. So let us know. But again, if you haven't already, make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We appreciate all the support. Bama Standard said any possibility he will be nominated for the Thorpe Award.
I could see that happening.
I think so, but don't they already have their lists, right? Can they add somebody? You know how they always have like the semifinalists and stuff. I feel like we're kind of getting to that point where.
Let me look at it here. That's a great question.
23. That is a really good question. He obviously, I don't think was
2023.
on I don't think he would have been on the watch list just because he's such a young player. I know Kool-Aid was on the watch list.
Take him
Um,
off.
bro, I'm
I
gonna
mean,
get y'all
Kool-Aid
some
is just
gloves, man. Uh,
no. I don't want him to beat me up, but
Ed says Wednesday. Latoya says Monday. All right, so we got one Wednesday, we got one Monday. Mimi and Bobby said a great show. Appreciate you guys. Um, appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank y'all. Let's see. So we got a Monday and a Wednesday. All right, we got another Wednesday. So that's two Wednesdays. And we got a Tuesday and a Thursday from Sam. Yeah, remember, we already go live on Thursday. So take that into consideration.
we just need to start Monday. Monday's a good kickoff.
We
Introduce.
could do Monday and Thursday.
Hmm. I
Sweet
can do
Home
it
says
whenever you
Monday.
want. Just let me know.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to
But
get a consensus on what everybody thinks would be a good day. Because that's what matters,
but
right? I mean, I want them to be
yeah,
able to.
and anytime there's big news, I think it's always good to get on here, even if it's a short, 15,
Tuesday
20
or
minutes. It's
Wednesday.
good. Yeah, so we'll make it happen. Things are kind of just slowing down a little bit, and we'll get these schedules going. So a lot of good stuff happening. Um, my goal is to get Braswell on here this week.
Well,
So
we would have
I
done it
want to,
last. We would have
yeah,
done it last week, but you were a
I
no
was
show.
driving.
Yeah, you came late, and then we were celebrating his birthday because he had gone home
See,
the
well,
week
see what's
prior.
happening with this right here. I get blamed. You could always just look at me. I'm in the car with the mirror
Yeah,
light,
but I mean,
the
yeah, but I mean,
overhead light.
I feel like we're talking to the headless horseman. I mean, all I see is a gray hoodie, brother. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I like if we can have a decent setup, right?
Well, that's gonna be most of the time, but sometimes, I'm a man that's spoiled in different ways. Sometimes I have to be traveling.
No, I feel that. Well, again, we appreciate everybody in here. We'll come up with the day, and I'll let you guys know. So make sure you go follow our Twitter or our X account. That way, you know when we when will I think Bam Sanders said that Corey looks like he's in witness protection. That does. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, make sure you
What
guys
about
follow us
now?
on Twitter.
And
Yeah,
let
it's
the
better. It's
light
a
be
little
with
creepy.
you.
Yeah, just make sure you follow us on Twitter. That way you know when we decide to go live. And make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you get reminded. But it typically will be around like 6:30, 7-ish. I think we normally go Central Time.
In my picture.
Um, but yeah, and we'll do that. Appreciate everybody hanging in here. Make sure you guys do all that good stuff like I mentioned, and have a great rest of y'all Sunday. Um, I guess we'll see you guys Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. You got anything before we get out of here?
Yeah, I still don't like Halloween. Looking forward to Thanksgiving and Christmas. Um,
I'm about to look like you in a second. It's starting to get dark here. That damn daylight savings
yeah.
time. There we go.
I mean, if I got up my Suburban, it's light. I got a big light right there. But I'm just sitting in the truck. But no, I don't have anything much. A great win just to wrap up Alabama and LSU. So the scenario: Alabama wins at Kentucky. They are the SEC West champions, and they will go probably play the winner between Georgia and Tennessee because this should go because Ole Miss Lane Kiffin at Georgia this week. Game day, I believe, is going to be there. That's going to be a huge game. Maybe Lane Kiffin knocks Georgia off, and then they got to go to Rocky Top, and that's always going to be a difficult place to play. Tennessee put 56 on UConn over the weekend, so you know a lot can happen these next 2 or 3 weeks, folks, all across. It's going to be interesting to see what the college football playoff committee. That's Tuesday, the second reveal. Where will Alabama be? I think they stay pretty much where they are. I don't think they move, but you're going to have some things happening in the Big 12 with Texas. I think probably going to have to play somebody that they may lose to in the championship. The Pac-12 looking like going to be a rematch with Oregon and Washington, who's in front of Alabama. Georgia, again, will have to play Alabama probably if they went out in the SEC championship game. So Alabama's going to be okay because the big picture is college football play. So Alabama needs to win out, handle their business, 11-1, go beat Georgia. Okay, let's say if it's Georgia, they went out. Will 2-1 loss team, the SEC champion says Alabama beats Georgia, they won loss. Both those teams getting the college football playoff. I mean, this month of November, man, that's going to be a lot of stuff happening. Florida State is a team that can't afford to lose. So their schedule is easy. The ACC is trash. Let's just remember that. But we'll see what happens there. So Alabama's in good shape. They just got to continue to win. I think the whole playoff mindset is in place for them right now, and they just continue to get better. And so great win over LSU. Many people bet LSU based on the line. Thought LSU would probably win that ball game, but Alabama handled their business. A 2-touchdown victory over the Bayou Bengals. Payback from last year. That was good. So I'm looking forward to Kentucky. They haven't been there. When last you ever played Kentucky when you was at Alabama, Christian?
Not
You
that I
didn't play.
remember.
You didn't play South Carolina. I don't think you played. You might have played
No.
Kentucky at Alabama.
Oh wait, yeah, I did. I had a sack. What am I talking about? I had a
Yeah,
forced fumble. Yeah,
there you
that
go.
was. I feel. Yeah, Tim Williams was suspended that first half. That's
Yeah,
a whole
but you
nother
never
story.
went.
But
You
I
never went to
got a sack.
Kentucky.
Yeah. No, I never went there. No, but I played him at home. I got a sack. It was 2016. We played him at home.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. So anyway, a lot of good stuff. Looking forward to hear what Coach Saban's going to say tomorrow in his presser. That should be fun. Hopefully, get his that bloodshot eye fixed. Stop yelling so much. Hopefully, that comes back. And hey, roll tide, roll. God bless everybody. We appreciate you. Thank the world of you. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Look at your neighbor like we do in the church. Look at your neighbor and say like and subscribe in
That's
Jesus'
right.
name. All right, I'm done.
You heard the man. Well, appreciate everybody in here again. Thank you guys so much for your support. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we will see you guys. I think I'm going to go ahead and do it maybe Tuesday, but stay tuned. Go follow us on Twitter. I'll definitely let you guys know for sure. But again, appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Everybody who's in here, but also Adam, 60, and Bobby for all the super chats. Thank you guys so much. We just appreciate each and every one of you. But again, y'all stay safe, stay blessed, and roll tide. We'll see you guys next time.